Welcome. This is Mike Denon. I am just going to take you through one of the ways you can think about the absolute minimum needed to get started with remote teaching here at UCI. What I am doing is making a Yuja recording. I'm going to try and show you some of those steps later on. This is a version where I'm just showing my screen. Could also do this easily where you're showing yourself talking and the screen. But for this purpose, I didn't think you needed to see me. I'm going to take you through some elements in the PowerPoint, and we'll also put up the PowerPoint. And the first step really is to have a Canvas course space, because you can use this course space for the absolute minimum of file communication, meaning posting documents for your students to get and having your students turn in documents by creating assignments. So let's go there and see what that looks like. So you're going to go to grandcentral.eee.uci.edu. If you've done nothing else, it'll take you to this main page. That's the EE plus Grand Central page. You can also go to My Classes, My Canvas Course Spaces, My Sandbox. If you go to View My Course Spaces, you can see this is right now set for winter, and I have a Canvas course. If I click on Spring, which is what we're going to be doing, I had created a course already. But if you don't have it, you would create Canvas Course Space. It would give you the choice of classes to select. You would select one of them, go next. Then you would want really a manual mode for the gradebook. You may or may not be using the gradebook. That's okay. You would click on Create Course Space. You'll double check things. And then about an hour later, so we'll do this here and you can see the message. It's telling you that it's actually being created and processed, that it'll be ready in approximately 1 hour. And you'll be all good to go. So I'm going to go back to My Classes. And I'm going to go to Spring. This lists all my classes and whether they have a course or not and other things that I can do with them. If I come back to my Canvas course spaces, I see ones being created and, I'm back to winter. I see ones being created and here's my spring one. So let's go to the course space. What do I mean, by that you can use this simply for file uploads and downloads? Canvas can be overwhelming. It has a lot of stuff. We have a lot of tutorials, a lot of videos, a lot of help if you want to use different things in Canvas. But the key items, if you're doing nothing else, are assignments and files. You can upload files for students and you can have them hand in assignments by creating an assignment. Now, very quickly on the assignment tab, you would go. You would add an assignment to the assignments and you would go through the different types. This is an assignment. You can do discussions, quizzes, external tools, and so on. You would give it a name. You would give it a due date if you wanted that. If it's assigned points, you would give it a certain number of points. You would look at more options if you wished, because one of the things you would likely do is have a submission. In this case, if you want them to upload it, it would be an online submission with a file upload. You can allow media recordings. You can restrict the type of files. You can have them do text entry. There's a whole lot of other things you can do, but you would save and publish. And now students can upload this assignment. They would be able to see this. When you start, I'm going to reset this. Under settings, I just clicked on settings. These are all the tools you can see. If you don't want to deal with these, you can move tools down to hidden, and then you don't have to worry about what they are. When you first start, Yuja, something we're going to talk about, will be hidden. So I'm going to hide it now. This is what it would look like when you log in. If you notice, Yuja here is hidden. So if you go to use Yuja as a default, you won't see it. We'll come back to that. Files are where you can upload files for your students to see. And it just works as an upload, and you can organize them into folders however you want for your students. So that's the main file upload and assignment. Those two buttons, assignments and files, are kind of the minimum you would need to use to communicate with students. Pages and modules are ways to organize this at a higher level if you want to do that for students. And again, just go see our help if you want to get more organization in your Canvas page. Your basic delivery of lectures. Right now, what I'm doing is an asynchronous delivery mode. It's going to be the most robust because it just relies on our internal tools. Yuja is the best place to do that. Go to yuja.replay.uci to get started. But when you go, you will initially be on your Yuja page. This is what it will look like, uci.yuja.com. You'll be able to log in with your UCI Net ID and account. You can create folders. You will also have a list of your classes if you've created the Canvas page. And one thing that's really nice, if I just randomly go to a folder here, click up on a file, you can see we're recording this right now. This is one that existed. If I just drag it to my Physics 195 folder, it is now something my students will be able to access. How does that work? We go back to Canvas. We didn't turn on Yuja yet. Let's go do that. We go to Settings. We drag Yuja anywhere up here so it's now visible. We hit Save. And we go to Yuja 2.0. And now, for this class, we have a published file. So let's take a moment and go back to the home. There's a button here to see the student view. So what is a student going to see? Well, we've created an assignment. So when they click on that, they see the assignment. And in Yuja, we have uploaded one file. And they will see the Physics 195 file that they can now play as a video. Now, again, you can make folders, you can name them, and that can all help the students organize and find the files. We leave the student view. This is a place where maybe using pages is what's going to help you best. I created a test page. Let's just add another page. Test page 2. The tool is this little V, more external tools. If you want to just have a page for them, that's a video where you can add some other content to it around the video, you can import into that the Yuja video that you want. It's going to take a little while to load here. And once it loads, we'll be able to put it in. So there's the test Zoom video that I have. These are a whole bunch of other videos I have saved in different ways. So I could click on the test Zoom video, and now it's loaded in. I save the page, and now it's ready to go for students. Notice that time I just hit save, so the students can't see it yet. When I want them to see it, I do have to publish it. So if I go back to the student view, okay, and I go here on pages, I had published the first test page, so they can go see that, okay, and I had put a video on that. But if I now go home and leave the student view, okay, and I come back to my pages, and I now click this one, the circle here, and I publish that, now they would see test page 2. So that's the core basic piece of asynchronous delivery. For synchronous delivery, you want to use Zoom. So Zoom, you would hopefully get to from your UCI. There's instructions on our page to create your UCI account. You would schedule meetings. I'm not going to give a Zoom tutorial here because there are a lot of those that the university has created that are good. But what I'm just going to show you real quickly is I had scheduled a meeting, test meeting for teaching. I'm going to start that. And I may totally mess up my system and crash it because now I'm going to record a video within a video. Let's see if it works. So I hit start. My Zoom is connecting. I'm going to join with the computer audio. And it is recording because I had fixed automatic recording at the beginning. So you can see it's recording up here. If it wasn't recording, I could have started the recording down here. So I've made a little video. I'm going to end the meeting. I'm going to end it for all. It's going to process this recording because it needs to be converted. And now it's going to save it here. I'm going to rename it Lecture 1 Test. And then what I'm going to do is over here in my Zoom, okay, I can drop and drag. And so I have a spring quarter folder. Okay, that's where I'm going to store my videos. You'd probably want to make a folder for your class. I'm just going to take this video and I'm going to drag and drop. And it's going to load into here. It's going to tell me as it's uploading to the cloud. Okay. And once it's ready, it'll show here. And once it's there, I can now just drop it into my Canvas class as I did with others. So I'm going to let that keep processing and go on to my PowerPoint. So those are your just two basic delivery modes. You can use Zoom to be synchronous. Your students can be in the Zoom session. You can be recording it so that if any aren't able to join, or if they want to go back and launch it or watch it later, you put it in that Yuja folder and then you upload it. That's it pretty much. That's the core, most basic thing. So if you want to engage with students, Zoom, as I said, is a good way. You can have the students live, but keep in mind, not all students, they're now living in different places. They're in different time zones, different internet access. They might get dropped. They might not have access to internet. That's why we really want to save those video interactions. Now, what if you want to interact another way, kind of asynchronously or synchronously with a little less internet bandwidth? Let's go back to our Canvas page. And if you go back to your Canvas page, this is where you'd want to use discussions. Discussions are a great way to set up an interaction between the students, each other, and yourselves. So talk about why you are taking the class. You can post it to all your sections. You can do some various settings and options, but it's mainly a group discussion. You can set it when it's available, and you can save and publish. And now people can respond to it. I really like the topic. I can't type, so I will edit that. Students can post various things. You can even put some external tools. You can put Google Apps. You can put links. I post my reply, and there we go. And you can interact with each other. If you get really more advanced, you can actually get nice statistics and track these, and you can even grade them, and you can make the discussions graded. But this is a very simple, minimal way to get interaction between you and your students. The next thing about it, one more level up, is to have regular check-ins with students. We know structure is core once we've gone remote, and you can do this through emails. You can do this through the Zoom interactions. But one thing that is very useful is a regular online quiz in Canvas. Even if you're just doing the world's most basic quiz of a couple of multiple choice questions to say, how are you doing this week and what are you doing? And the quiz tool, you go, usual thing, you would add a quiz. You would give it a name. Okay, you could make it graded or not graded. There are some more options you can pick. You would assign it to everybody. You give it a due date and an available time, and you make the questions. And like I said, the most simplest thing is to just have a few quick multiple choice questions for the students, what they're doing this week, or even better, just a quick, simple essay question. Every week. What do you plan to do this week? Can you give me your schedule? Little things like that will help the students stay focused and on track. And you can make these for points for right and wrong answers. They're pretty easy to grade in the grader, and they're automatically graded if you make them multiple choice and other types. And I can just save and publish. And you can preview them. And now I'm on the home page. Again, this is starting to get just a little more advanced, but it does help to have these regular check-ins for your students. So just to review real quickly, we've got the recommended starting point is to get your Canvas course space. We went through that. The key core piece is delivery of lectures. Decide asynchronous, synchronous. Always have a recording, I suggest, for backup. And asynchronous really is the most robust, but clearly we want interaction with our students when possible. So using Zoom as we can is a good thing. Your basic engagement modes, I didn't mention. You can also use Google Docs. Lots of other ways are pretty straightforward, but the discussion board works great. The regular check-ins with students, particularly the quizzes. And finally, just so you have it here, we've been sending this out in a lot of our links, the DTEI teaching site and the sites where we will keep updating more and more help. We're going to have some amazing webinars and other processes in Zoom and office hours for you to get more advanced. But in the end of the day, your colleagues are the best resource. We have many faculty who've used these tools with great success. Reach out, get advice, get help. But this brief video should get you all those key first clicks you need to get started. Let's just take a quick look and see where our Yuja video is. It's still processing, but it will show up and be here when it's ready. Hopefully that covers, like I said, the core that you need to get started. You can always reach out to us for help and keep checking these pages in our emails for more resources. And many of the schools have created their own little tips and tricks and resources that are circulating. So look for those. Have Have a great spring break. And thank you for everything you're doing for our students. I know we're going to have an amazing quarter.